Jaguars. Welcome everyone to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
So today I finished Survivor Worlds Apart, the show's 30th season.
Yes.
And I want to take a little trip back to one of Chris and I's earliest podcasting ventures. And remind Chris of one of my earliest running bits. Where I remind him about the player named Tyler, who has been on 7 professional football teams.
Oh my goodness gracious! That works so well for this podcast. Yes,
I know.
Go ahead. Indulge me in Tyler again. I forgot a lot about him.
So Tyler was in the season of Survivor Worlds Apart was a white collar player. Meaning he is in the big leagues, like an executive of some kind, and he used to be a talent agent, but he also used to be an NFL kicker. And by NFL kicker, I mean he was on a bunch of practice squads, but he was on 7 of them. And when Chris and I went through some Survivor seasons, I know we went through Worlds Apart, we went through Cambodia, Koran, maybe MVGX. I don't think we did MVGX, but we might have done Game Changers.
I think we started that, and I think something happened where scheduling just didn't work out, where we didn't finish the season. I don't think.
Yeah. But Game Changers I remember us doing. And then it just was fun.
Yeah.
That actually, you know what? That might have been when we started football stuff. MVGX.
Yes.
So we went through 3 seasons live as we were watching it, and yeah,
and it was really exciting to see that, because we were like, whoa, a dude that was on 7 professional football teams, that's wild. But I don't think
we were clowning on him, dude.
Yeah, no. We were making fun of the idea 100%. Yeah. But I think what was even more funny though is that we didn't know the legend that was Josh McCown. I don't think at the time. I don't think we knew who he was, but we didn't realize that Josh McCown was on more NFL teams. And I want to double check this. McCown has been on 12 NFL football franchises.
That's fantastic.
Plus the Hartford Colonials, which was part of the old UFL back in the. I'm guessing it was like a random football league that started back in the early 2010s. But yeah, so that's it. No, it's wild. I'm glad that you remembered that. That's an old poll. I appreciate that.
On that note, do not watch Survivor Worlds Apart. It's a shit season. It's got some decent gameplay, but especially when you come off of Cagayan and San Juan del Sur, and then follow it with Cambodia and Koran, like it is such stiff competition. You are a bad season.
Yeah, no, it was not good, and no one was remotely likable. The only interesting element of that season was that the guy that ended up winning was kind of like was outcasted after like. I mean, you can remind me about more of the details, but I'm pretty sure it was around like file 7 or file 6. He was isolated from everyone, right?
So what happened was he this is turning back into Survivor, but this is such an interesting sequence of events. At the Survivor auction, and this is the last Survivor auction that ever happened. There was a super fan on the season, and she was like, okay. When the love letters come out, usually everyone, whoever wins the auction, whatever that price is, everyone else can buy their letters from home for that same price. So she was like, someone just bid $20, and then everyone else can buy it for $20. So that happened, except the 3 people who were saving their money for an advantage because they have advantages at this auction. Decided, well, let's all do it so that we all have the same amount of money. And so Mike, the eventual winner of the season, decides, no, I'm not going to do that. I let the other two who wanted the advantage go and buy the letter, and then kept his money anyway, and then decided to go and buy his letter after everyone rightfully was like, dude, what the fuck? So he ousted himself. Everyone hated him from there. And then he just kind of won immunities going to the end. Oh, and he didn't even get the advantage, by the way. So he did all of that for nothing.
But he still ended up winning, which is insane.
He won the season, but he didn't get the advantage. So he could have been in a much better situation and had more power in the game. Yeah. But it was just a huge fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's wild. That whole season was insane. They named their merge tribe
America,
which just goes right to that right to like catering to a very specific group of people right there.
Yep. 5 years ago, it was a different time.
It was a different time, to believe it or not. We lived in a much different era. Before we actually get into our virtual ball boys fiascos, because we got week 14 to recap. I wanted to address some things from last week because we capitalized on this craze that's going on in the gaming community right now, which is Cyberpunk 2077 and the hype around it. And everything we have learned since that release has been butt fuck wild. Let's just say that.
That's an understatement.
It is I mean, we all kind of, we were talking about it on the podcast. There was a very good shot that this game was going to be oversold by the company, and many people were overhyping it. And the game runs well on PC, and people are enjoying it on PC. But on the other two systems that have huge audiences right now, because the new generation, not a lot of people have the new generation consoles. That is still a massive audience that are going to buy the game, and those games suck ass.
It is so laughable how much they suck.
It's not even like the graphics. The graphics are not good. The game,
no, they're not.
The whole gameplay of it just does not run well. Like the game itself just does not run well at all, and people want their monies back, and then they send out a statement saying, "Oh, if you guys want, we want you to stick around, but if you don't, go to Sony and Microsoft to get refunds." And then Sony and Microsoft are like, "Wait, no, that's not how this works. We don't give out refunds at all." Yeah. I mean, which is shitty in a way, like on Sony and Microsoft's part, because like if people want a refund on a game, you should give them the refund. But regardless, if that's not their fucking policy, it's not their policy.
Right, and that's like a standard accepted thing in the game industry. Like,
right.
Like even if it's not right, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So. What the hell were they expecting?
Exactly, and they kept, and I very very much we would deep dive into this, but obviously we have the rest of a podcast to go into. But I would highly recommend Jeff Grubb over at VentureBeat. He wrote a great op-ed. I retweeted it, and I talked about it on Twitter a little bit ago, and I recommend you guys go and read it, because it kind of gives a good breakdown of everything that's so fucked up about the situation. They gave the media PC only copies to review, yep. So that way their score was high, and it makes sure that no one's got to see the PS4 and Xbox One versions until the day they came out, and they're shit. It's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful, and then there's the transgender issues, which is just another whole bag of fucking. So I was teasing it to you early before we started the podcast, Matt. Essentially, part of the character creation is that you could choose between like a masculine model and like a feminine model, and you could choose which one you want to go with. And that's like, okay, fine. We could have the discussion about the non-binary, like what about them? But it's a fine starting point, at least. Like it's fine. It's fine. Right. I'm not gonna complain about that. Right. So, But then you go into it, and there's a voice scale.
Yeah,
so
I knew that.
You can adjust your voice.
Yep.
However you adjust your voice determines what your pronouns are.
Oh.
So the deeper voice you have, you'll be considered he, him.
Yeah, that's not really always how that works.
But that's also like when there is, and someone wrote it very eloquently. I'm not going to be able to say it as eloquently as they did, but basically that is a huge. That's how, like, transphobic people who go out of their way to attack trans people, like, that's the quote-unquote tell that they use.
Right.
To attack trans people.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, yeah, let's make that a game feature. Like, what the fuck?
What are you thinking?
And on top of the transphobic marketing and the fucking... And they didn't... I want to take back what I said. They didn't really apologize. When I said that last week, they didn't really. They put out a statement saying like, "Oh, we're sorry you're offended," type thing.
Yeah, the best thing to say.
And they were like, and they basically the way they marketed it was like, they have posters across the game that over-sexualize transgender people, but don't over-sexualize anyone else. It's
right. Yeah.
Fucking insane. It's fucking insane.
I like. It is watching it is driving by a car accident levels of, like, I have no investment in playing this game at all.
Yeah.
Because one, I've heard so much shit about it.
Yeah.
But two, now because of all this, but I cannot stop reading shit on how awful this game has gone, because the just general hype cycle is fascinating, and a study into that and where that went wrong.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
It's insane. And CD Projekt Red had so much respect after they released The Witcher 3, that like people are stunned right now. They're like, how the fuck has this company fallen from such a high point?
From doing The Witcher 3, a fantastic game.
It's a fantastic game. People love that game, and it's completely fallen apart. And I recommend you guys do your research on it. I've been watching so many podcasts talking about it, mainly Kind of Funny, but I also have watched other commentators talk about it. It's just it's a good thing to sink your teeth into when a corporation just spiraling out of control. It's just it's good shit.
Also also disclaimer: we are two cis men. Take our opinions for a grain of salt. This is just our viewpoint on things.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. I this is a lot of what I'm talking about is just from commentary that we've heard about. I'm sure that there is room for discourse on it. It is based off of everything that I've been hearing about the game. No way. No sir. I'm not touching that game anymore. But thank you guys for letting us have this platform.
Wild.
And talking about
that's the end of it. It is just wild.
It's just a wild situation right now. What a way to end the 2020 cycle. So anyways, back to the NFL, back to football. We are
nothing bad ever happens here.
Nothing bad ever happens in football, right? No, so we just finished up week 14, and it kind of was a snooze fest up until Monday night.
Did Monday night happen?
And I think you watched more of this game than I did, so I'll recap as much as I can, but I definitely want to get a lot of your reaction here from it. But the Ravens and Browns went toe to toe basically the entire game. There was a point where the Ravens ended up going up by 2 scores. 34. I want to say it was like 34-20. I think was the score at one point.
About that, yeah.
And then the Browns came roaring back, and took the lead 35-34.
You need to let me describe what happens.
Okay, yeah. You could take it from here, my friend.
Okay, so the Browns were coming back, and as the Browns were as the Browns were driving down the field, and this was their first drive to try to take the lead. They were driving down the field, and 34-20 was the right score. Yes, they were driving down the field, and there was the realization that Lamar Jackson was not on the sideline. Now, the Browns were on offense, but Lamar Jackson was not on the sideline. Everyone was like, what the fuck is going on? They show a camera, and he is waddling to the locker room because of cramps. That is what we are told. It was cramps.
Right.
That is So I'm going to say this right now. That is absolutely what it was. He was cramping. He had COVID. He was very dehydrated. He was cramped.
Yep. 100%.
But as he was in there, everyone assumed that he really just had to take a poop. And that's all that Twitter ran with the entire night. And it was hilarious to follow that narrative. Anyways, Trace McSorley comes in, doesn't do very well at all, and gives the ball back to the Browns. Browns had scored a 2-point conversion, so they were down by 6. Were able to then come on down. They scored again and then went ahead of the Ravens. Next play, or one of the first couple plays on the Trace McSorley was out. Trace McSorley gets injured, but thankfully Lamar is back out. Very first play, Lamar throws like I don't know how long, at least 40-yard touchdown to Marquise Brown. Literally first play after coming out of the locker room. He has his arm bandaged from an IV.
Yeah.
And just comes out, throws a touchdown. Browns are able to then Browns then get the ball. They then go ahead. And then Ravens are able to get it in place for Justin Tucker to kick the go-ahead field goal. They're up by 3 at this point, because it was tied. They're up by 3 at this point.
Right.
And then the Browns have 2 seconds with touchback starting field position, and they do the whole like throwing it lateral thing. And it goes, whoever had the ball last goes back into the end zone. It's called a safety. 47-42 final score. Scorigami. So on top of it being really close to start, the Ravens getting ahead, the Browns launching an insane comeback, putting the ball into the most accurate kicker in the NFL right now, and then your quarterback, with the mythos that everyone believes at the time that he just took a shit and then won the game for your team, combined with a lateral miss up to end with a safety that ends with a scorigami. This is my favorite game of football that I've ever seen.
All right, that's going in the clip. The social media clip. I was tuning in and out of this game because I was well, first of all, should note that the whole event that we've been teasing this entire time was my sister got married and I was officiating.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So Kelsey T of Table Party and briefly Dock of Shame fame. And also again. Anthony of the Gaming Coop. I think Kelsey was also in the Gaming Coop. Yep. And they got married this weekend. So I was calling with them, talking to them about their cat, that they just got, a little Barnaby. And I
such a good name, by the way.
Yeah, it is. And I was playing Animal Crossing with them, and on my other monitor I had the game going, and I just every once in a while I'd look over and just be like, "Huh, this game's good." And I go back to whatever's going on. But I did start to tune in near the end, and I opened up Twitter, and I just saw people talking about, like, they kept on making number 2 jokes. Like, oh, that's maybe the second time Lamar Jackson converted a 2-point converted 2 in the fourth quarter or whatever. I was just like, wait, what? I don't get that. That's not funny to me. And then I just scroll down. I'm just like, and then I come to see people say like Paul Pierce, because Paul Pierce famously during the NBA Finals was wheelchaired off the fucking court to go take a shit, and everyone thought his career was over because he fainted or whatever. But it just is that he had to poop. So I was just like, wait, what the fuck is going on? And then I learned everything else that happened, and I saw the drive to tie the game. Both teams left too much time on the clock, and Justin Tucker ultimately got the final say on the whole thing. It was just a glorious, wonderful. It reminded me of Chiefs Rams a few years back. It was just a glorious display of just what the fuck is going on, but in the best way. Lamar Jackson's best performance of the season. He fucking deserved it. He's had such a rough season to this point.
Oh my god, did he deserve it?
And the Cleveland Browns, I know there's no moral victories, but holy crap, you guys played a great game outside of your defense. Same thing with the Ravens. Ravens defense didn't play well, but like overall, like both teams played to the best of their ability. It was well coached throughout. And maybe Kevin Stefanski, you know, they I think there was like one coaching decision, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Kevin Stefanski did. There's like debate about I think there was some sort of discourse about like maybe going for 2 again or something like that. Like I don't know.
Nothing that would have extremely affected the course of the game, I don't think.
Okay, yeah, I heard around the NFL. I heard Greg Rosenthal talk about something, and I'm gonna forget it on the top of my mind. Regardless, it just, from what I got to see of it, it looked like a wonderful game, and I'm glad that people got a chance to really enjoy it. I'm gonna try. I might end up watching it again on Game Pass to really embrace the moment a lot more. But
there was also like just one thing really funny was Robert Griffin, who's currently on IR, tweeted the Buda Baker chase, or DK Metcalf chasing down Buda Baker.
Yeah.
With Buda Baker was the Browns' lead, and then DK was Lamar after pooping.
And Lamar, after the game, denied it, and like you said, he said that he was cramping, and we've had the Twitter doctors come out and say, like, oh, he has the wristband on his arm, which makes me believe he got the IV, so that means he was cramping.
Have you ever had to poop so bad that you needed an IV?
I mean, maybe. It depends. I guess it depends on how bad it is, what you ate the night before. But like, I think that. So I do think he was cramping. So
absolutely.
But everyone still wants to. Like, I saw some people be like, "Sure, Jan." Like, some people most gives their like they don't believe it, and maybe it'll be like Paul Pierce, where like 10 or 15 years from now, Lamar Jackson will be on like a studio show, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I was pooping." It would be great.
I had to poop.
Great commentary. I loved it. I love these type of games, and it was just funny that like Lamar Jackson kind of brought the Cleveland Browns to the Super Bowl. Even though he was facing the Cleveland Browns. All right. So that was that, and really that was the most eventful game of the week. We don't really have to go into others, but might as well go through our slate. Usually, the blowout of the week was Jets at Seahawks. Really, not much to say here. Seahawks took care of business. They bounced back from the loss against the Giants. Jets are terrible. They probably won't win a game again this year. I
want them to never win. I wanted so bad. I want another like. I just want another 16-0 team. Like,
no, in 16 you mean?
Oh, in 16, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want it. Can I have it?
You've been craving it since Browns 2017.
That felt like a defining moment for how I approach sports, like early on. So, yeah, I want another one.
I need another one of those shining moments right there. The Jets season. Oops, all losses. Okay, so then we go to Team Chaos. The Team Chaos of the week, which actually, all things considered, I think this would have been our biggest story of the week had it not been for Ravens Browns. But the best team in the league lost to seemingly the worst team in the league. And the New Orleans Saints went to Philadelphia and kind of got handled by the Philadelphia defense. And Jalen Hurts played a relatively solid first start.
He did, for sure.
I don't know how much you got to see of this game, but what's your thoughts after this game?
I didn't see any of it. Just wasn't in my area.
In your queue.
Yeah. My available to watch according to the gods of cable.
Of 506 Sports,
Of a 506 Sports. I mean, they don't decide. They just tell you. 506 Sports is chill. They just tell you.
No, I know, I know, but people believe that 506 Sports is the one controlling it.
Oh, do they really?
There's people out there. Oh, 100%. I don't know if it's a he or she that's behind the account or they. But like, they are so like. They talk about it frequently, like people get mad at me, and I'm like, I don't have a say. I don't have a say in any of this. I just post the maps and I go away. I did get a chance. I got to see glimpses of it, obviously with the red zone stuff, and I think that it made the Saints' decision easier for them, because if Taysom Hill was going to continue to play well, because he played well last week, or the week prior, I should say. It would have made it maybe a decision a little bit harder if he played well against the Eagles, to maybe we should just stick with Taysom Hill and wait for Drew Brees to get super healthy. But the fact that we just found out that Drew Brees has been activated, and that he's back in practice, and the fact that the Hill did not play well in this last game kind of goes to show you that like the Saints are going to go back to Drew Brees, and this is not Taysom Hill's team just yet.
Right.
And I'm not worried about the Saints. Fluky, crazy things happen all the time. I would be, they're going against the Chiefs this week, so that's a rough turnaround to having lost this game and now having to go against seemingly the best team in the league.
Yep.
Right now. But I don't know. Saints, I still have faith in the Saints. They're my NFC champions still, so I think this is just one thing they have to shrug off. And the Eagles are back in the NFC East race.
Yeah, remember last week when I said we should bury them?
Yeah, wait, yeah. What, don't you think that was a good choice? We have a freezing Viking here. He's basically dead.
Yeah, we have a zombie
anyway.
Viking. Is he okay?
He's kind of dead. He's kind of dead. We could put him back.
We could put him back.
But it's up to you. We're just gonna do this every fucking week. We're gonna just take
switch them every week depending on who wins.
All right, the eagle's gonna fly out.
No, I wasn't serious.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say the eagle has gotten life and is now flying out of the grave. Anyways, so that's your slate. Like I said, really the games were not that interesting this week. I mean, Giants finally got what they deserved and got a loss. Sorry, I know I was all aboard the Giants train. Obviously, I team chaos with them last week, but I never thought this team had a shot at the NFC East like earlier in the season. I got some hope recently, but they're still the Giants, and the Giants they're just not that. They're not like they're all right. Their defense has played well, but their offense just keeps on giving up the ball.
Yep.
So that's just where it is. The Cardinals got a good bounce back game. I would say that's the only other interesting one.
You raised my hopes and dashed them quite expertly, sir. Good show.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and when we talk about how we performed in our picks, we'll get there. But our guarantee off went to the home team, went to Mr. Matt. You did it.
I did it.
You've been the guaranteed champion. You're 10-4 this year with
guarantees.
Yeah, I am. You have performed valiantly, sir, on this one. So very good job. All right, so this segment this week, we're gonna talk real quick about the wild card round, because the wild card is fascinating this year.
Wild card.
Wow, it's wild.
Wild card.
It's wild because we have now 6 teams that are considering themselves wild card instead of 4. 3 for each conference.
Yep.
And so we have a lot more scenarios. Can you believe that only one team in the NFC has been eliminated for playoff contention to this point?
Really?
Yep, just the Falcons. And they technically are ahead of the Panthers in the standings, yet the Panthers are still alive.
That's fucking weird.
That is so fucking weird. It is absolutely wild.
Go home, Math. You're drunk.
So this is more just an open discussion.
Remember that meme? Go home, you're drunk.
I do, but what was it from?
I think it was just a general thing. Like if something was weird, you would say, "Go home, X, you're drunk."
Yeah, that's a very like early 2010s.
Yeah.
Meme right there.
I like to think our humor has evolved a little bit since then.
Very slightly, just a tinge. So I have the playoff machine up on ESPN right now.
Okay.
And so I'm just we don't have to pick the games because obviously we're going to be doing that later. But as of right now, even without diving into the games, where do you see the AFC wildcard race at the moment?
That is such a hard question to answer because it feels like it changes so much.
So let me make it a little bit easier. I'm gonna just list who I at this point how I see things going. If can we let's just make some set some ground rules generally.
Yes,
we can agree. I mean, the Chiefs have the AFC West. They that's locked in.
Yep.
Can we agree that the Steelers win the AFC North? Yes.
Most likely. I would say so. I would say so.
And I would give Buffalo the AFC East at this point.
I think that's safe.
Yeah, but just because I feel like this was I think they can win it this weekend coming up.
We'll find out later.
But yes, with our super tackle snares. And so then what remains of the wild card is the AFC South race with the Giants and Colts. Then you got the Browns, Dolphins, Ravens, and Raiders.
Browns, Dolphins, Ravens, and Raiders. Okay, so my guess would be it is the Browns. It is AFC South team that doesn't win the division.
Right. Yeah. I was like, oh man.
And then I want to say Dolphins, but it's hard to.
Here's because this is why I have the playoff machine up.
Yeah.
Here's the Ravens' remaining schedule. The Ravens have the Jaguars.
Okay.
Then the Giants, and then the Bengals.
Ooh.
Dolphins have the Patriots.
Okay.
The Raiders, and the Bills.
Now that's I won't lie to you. That's pretty difficult.
It's a little difficult. I mean, and the Patriots technically are still alive for the wild card. I'm not really. I feel like they're out of it at this point.
I am not vibing with them.
Yeah, and the Broncos are also still alive, but that's gonna be taking care of business probably as soon as this weekend. So, but I don't. I think the Dolphins win that game against the Patriots. I mean, barring any team chaoses we have up our sleeve for this week.
Yeah.
I would think that the Dolphins take care of the Raiders. I know it's in Las Vegas, but the Raiders have just completely spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
And being poor.
They're pretty bad.
But the Bills, that's a tough one. That's a tough one in Week 17. That's a big matchup right there.
It really is. I don't think, and there was a point earlier, maybe like 2 weeks ago, where you could have argued that might decide the division. I don't think it's going to. I think the Bills will have it locked up by that point.
I thought it would, just because I felt like the Steelers game was going to go the Steelers' way. Like it was going to go against the Bills. Like I thought the Steelers, like back before the Steelers started to fall apart a bit, like. That I felt like that game was it's your toughest opponent to date, but with how dominant the Steelers defense has been and the Bills not really able to handle pressure, that was before the Bills started surging a little bit more and the Steelers started to slump. So that's I think where that idea initially came. I'm with you. I think here's the thing though, and here's what's really fucked up, because I've run some scenarios myself on the side. There is a scenario, and this is gonna pain me, that the Browns miss the playoffs because
absolutely,
because Yeah, they got the Giants and Jets, right? So that gets them
Yep.
that gets them to 11 wins. But let's say the Titans get to 11 wins, the Colts get to 12 wins, which could happen with their remaining schedule. Maybe get to 11 wins. Well, no. So if they get to 11 wins, the Browns have the tiebreaker. But like, let's say the Colts beat the Steelers. The other games the Colts have are the Texans and Jaguars. So let's say they get to 12 wins. Titans get to 11. Miami gets to 11 if they beat the Bills, and the Ravens win out, which is very possible. They get to 11. If the Browns lose the game against the Steelers in Week 17, they're out.
Oh, I see.
That's the scenario for the Browns. Is it locked in tight? No. I mean, you could still have the Dolphins very much could lose to the Bills. Colts could very much lose to the Steelers. Like, there's still, like, it would take a lot for the Browns to get out of the playoffs, but this could get tight. It could get tight for them. But so after hearing about the Ravens Dolphins schedule situation, what do you still feel like the Dolphins make it in?
I don't think so. Knowing the schedule, they definitely have a chance. I think the Raiders are sunk. I think the last spot is going to be between the Dolphins and the Ravens.
I agree. Because I think Colts have played very well as of late. Titans, I think both Titans and Colts have just played too well for them to kind of sink it. Titans have a really easy schedule. I think they have the Colts, they have the Lions. Although they have the Packers.
Yeah, but that is one game.
It is one game, and then they finish up against the Texans. Whereas then the Colts, again, like both the Titans and Colts have really tough Week 16 matchups, but in between they have kind of cupcakes.
Yeah.
That they don't have to worry as much about. So yeah, that's locked in. I worry about the Browns, but I do think they get in, and I'm with you. I think the Ravens end up getting the last spot, and that'd be heartbreaking for Miami, but I think all things considered, this was a progress year for Miami.
Absolutely.
You know, like
they got the quarterback they need. They're going to be great in the future. It just didn't go that way this year, and that's okay.
Yeah, and they were fun to watch throughout. But that's going to be like your potentially 10 win team that's going to be out of the playoffs in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, that's wild. All right, so let's go to the NFC. This is the more gross conference, all things considered, because it is a there's just the records are not going to look that good. But right now, as things stand, you have Ciel at 9-4 at the 5th seed, with the Rams being the 3 seed, being on top of the division at 9-4. I believe that that big matchup between the Seahawks and Rams will take place in Week 16.
Okay.
So that might decide the division right there. Then you have the we do have the NFC East lingering a bit. If records continue to improve, that maybe if one team wins the NFC East, the other could sneak into the wild card, which is kind of fucking wild. But for the most part, the only ones really in contention for the 7th seed at this point is Arizona, Minnesota, and your Chicago Bears.
So
what do you say?
I think 2 weeks ago I would have said that the Bears have been out. We might have been able to bury them type of deal. And then the rest of the... Okay, well, I just looked at the games now. I thought we had a more easy games than we did, but we have the Vikings, the Jaguars, and the Packers. I don't think we're going to win enough to get in.
Well, are you ruling out the prospect of beating the Vikings next week?
There's a chance.
I mean,
I don't know.
Vikings haven't been as strong as of late, is what I'm getting at.
It's...
I don't know. I mean, here's the weird thing about what happened on Sunday. which I'm glad you brought it up because that was one of the weirdest games that happened. We all kind of thought like, all right, the Texans they've been pretty solid. You know, they'll go to Chicago, Chicago's just been on the slump as of late, and they'll just beat the Bears and we move on. But no, the Bears instead train wreck them.
The Bears' offense looks really good against really bad defenses.
Right. And who you have left is the Vikings, Jaguars. And, I mean, Packers is maybe the tough one a little bit.
Yeah.
But Vikings and Jaguars, I mean, it could work out for them. It could work out. But I think at this point, too, when you look at Arizona's schedule, Arizona has Eagles, 49ers, and the Rams. Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Oh my god, are we gonna get the fucking Bears in the playoffs? Alright, hold on. Alright, hold on.
What happens though? What happens if that happens?
I mean, we just have to accept it. The Saints will have to deal with it, or whoever the Rams, whoever ends up being the second seed. Jesus Christ. Alright, so let's say Arizona, let's say they lose their last two games. Let's say they lose against but the 49ers haven't been good as of late. So then,
no, they've been pretty bad.
So then if you go, if Arizona goes 9-7, I think that does it. I think that would do it. And then what all you have left is the Vikings will, if they don't lose to the Bears, they could get beaten by the Saints, and that would put the Vikings at like 8-8. And then the Bears, let's say they win their next two games, but then lose to the Packers, they go 8-8. 9-7 at the 7th seed gets in with Arizona. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think, right? I mean, unless the 49ers beat the Cardinals for whatever reason, which I guess could happen.
It is tight with the 7th seed, like tighter than it should be.
Yeah, and just to look at the Bucs schedule here, they have the Falcons, the Lions, and then the Falcons again. So I mean,
so the Bucs are in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a weird thing happening with divisionally wise where they split with the Falcons, but I don't see them losing to the Lions.
No,
especially if what seems like Matthew Stafford could be out for that week. Who knows? Right, in week 16 when they play them, and then like I would be stunned if Seattle gets kicked out of the playoffs at this point.
Me too.
That would be stunning.
Yeah,
I mean their schedule's not easy, to be fair, but
but they're still Seattle, and they usually Seattle seems to always have this slump,
right?
At some point.
Right.
And Wilson too just have this slump, and I think that's why he's never been voted for MVP.
Yeah,
is because of that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, what they have left is at Washington, then home to the Rams, and then at 49ers. That's tough. But you can two of those games are extremely winnable, with the Rams one maybe being a little difficult, but that game's also winnable for them. They could go 12-4 down the stretch if they really want to turn up the heat.
Yeah, they can still win the division.
Yeah, it's not impossible for them to clutch a division win right now.
Yeah,
not at all. All right. I think that covers it. Did we not address any specific wild cards? I think for the most part, everyone I think, like I said, the NFC East is a bit weird because there is this weird outside shot that like the NFC East could sneak into a wild card spot, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
I do not see that in the cards.
Yeah, I think right now it's really the battle at the top, and Washington's looked great as of late, so that could be them. Maybe the Eagles come back. Maybe the Giants come back. I don't know.
Let me look at Washington, the rest of Washington's schedule,
or the Cowboys. Fuck it, man. Let's just bring them
Fuck
all
it,
in.
dude. Washington has to face the Seahawks, the Panthers, and the Eagles. I can see it happening.
I could see the Washington winning that.
Washington, I think right now would be my pick.
Yeah, because I mean, like let's say Eagles turn it on. I mean, they could They could. Ah, man, the Eagles are making it hard for me because I could see it where like the Eagles could win out here if the Cardinals slip up, which we've seen the Cardinals slip up as of late, and then it's the Cowboys and then the Washington. If they win out, wait, what's their record right now? Fuck. Sorry, I'm getting excited.
This is such a fascinating scenario.
I love talking playoff scenarios, man. It's so much fun. They're 7-8-1 if they win out. Okay, but Washington, all they need to win is they need to just win 2 games.
Yeah,
with 2 and 3,
they're 8, which they definitely could.
God, you know what? I think Washington at Philly is going to be your Sunday Night Football game, Week 17.
Of all things.
Of all things, I think it's at that point because I
agree with you, but it's so surprising.
I'm disappointed because I would love to see the Dolphins Bills battle out for a division title, but I think the Bills are putting it away at this point.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's at, as wild as it is. My goodness gracious, NFC East. You continue to please and disgust all at the same time. All right. I think that covers that's enough of that segment. But I'm excited. When Sunday finishes up, I'm literally going to sit down and write every single playoff scenario by hand like I do every fucking year.
You madman.
Because I write down all the possible matchups. And I'm like, all right. And I just read them off. And Matt's just like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing in your life? And guess what? Now I'm unemployed. So this is what I have to do in my life. All right, so let's move on here. Good shit. Let's move on to the VBBFL. We took a little bit of a break while the wedding stuff was being planned, and I was finishing up my first semester of graduate school, which is fucking dope, and I'm down with that. Put that in the books for right now. So, while that all was happening, we decided to take a breather and allow the other teams, potentially, to make moves. We did not get a lot of action, and nope. I might extend the deadline a little bit for them to make some moves, but for right now, we have 2 moves that we've locked in. One move that you all already know. You know that Anaconda signed a defensive player in silence from the Horizon Zero Dawn games and released one of the 2 kickers that are on the Mountaineers, Nil, who's also from Horizon Zero Dawn. And now their stats are -2 offense, -2 defense, and +4 in ball handling. But we have, for the second move, we have some VBBFL breaking news.
Da 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 da.
You don't have the instrument today, so you gotta
nope.
forgive us. So
that's what you get.
That's what you get. We have another kicking change here. We Fit Trainer has been released from the Perth Amboy Privateers after the Privateers' first loss of the season. The kicker has been released and is being replaced by a new kicker, Miss Pac-Man, who is going to up the ball handling but hurt the offense and defense a little bit more than We Fit Trainer did. So the stats as of now for the Perth Amboy Privateers: -4 on offense, -4 on defense, and an 8 on ball handling, getting to the ball handling point that Anaconda once was before their roster change.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been I don't know if well established is the right word, but pretty firmly established that ball handling is a very important stat in this league. So getting it to be a high stat is not a bad thing.
It's not at all. And I mean, it's worked it worked for 4 straight weeks up until the loss to Brainerd. So, and these 2 teams that made moves are going to face each other this upcoming week.
Oh, even
week
better.
6. Perth Amboys hosting Anaconda. So we'll see those 2 new teams in action against one another. One team that is winless and one team that, again, is coming off of their first loss of the season. So we are going to stream this Saturday, most likely at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. Don't hold us to that. Something could change last minute. But that is the goal right now, is that we will come back with week 6 this Saturday, and there might be more roster moves. I might allow some more time if someone suddenly shows up. But in addition to the Anaconda at Perth Amboy battle, let's see, what else do we have for that? It looks like we have East Chicago versus Escondido, so a battle between 3 and 2 teams.
That's pretty good.
We have Phoenix City at Mansfield. Phoenix City, of course, coming off of their first win of the season.
Yeah, we'll see how much that. We'll see if that win carries any momentum against this defensive juggernaut.
Yeah, the defensive juggernaut. But Mansfield, of course, is on a bit of a. Have they lost 2 in a row now, or is it just that they? No,
I think they're just 3-2.
Yeah,
win loss.
Yeah, win loss right now. They got a pattern, so they're due for a win, and it makes sense it would be against Phoenix City. But we'll see what happens there. And then Weatherford at Brainerd, 4-1 team versus a 2-3 team. I don't know. I think this might be your showcase game. I'm not. I have to decide how I feel overall about these teams at the moment. Maybe it'll be Phoenix City again. Or not Phoenix City. Maybe it'll be Anaconda at Perth Amboy or something.
Yeah, just try out the new teams.
Yeah, maybe that'll be our showcase there, in week 6. So yeah, any thoughts on any of these matchups?
Not in particular. They're it's another week.
It's another solid week.
Pretty much all I got.
Yeah, I wish it was a little bit more interesting. We are 1 week away from Perth Amboy versus Weatherford, which is our 2 of our best teams.
That'll be a fantastic matchup.
So, and this week they do have slightly easier matchups, but again, who knows? So anything can happen in the VBBFL. So come watch us roll some dice prior to Bills Broncos on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna roll some dice, make up some crazy scenarios about, I don't know, how Chaz McFreely blew up Jigglypuff or something. I don't know. However, whatever scenarios we come up with, it's been getting good. I gotta say, the last time that we played was probably my favorite. I think solely for the Eggman bit that we came up with.
That I don't know what I was doing with that, but I'm so glad I was doing it.
It's just a different song each time, and he just kicks ass with it. He just kicks it through the uprights, and then but no Mariah Carey, because that just throws off his groove.
Yeah, it's true.
It's insane. All right, let's get to the picks. Last week we split on 3 games, and ultimately Matt came out on top. Matt went 10-6 last week. Has a 0 modifier. Got his did not get his guarantee, or sorry, excuse me. He got his guarantee, but didn't get his team chaos. That's why that's what it was.
Yes.
So 4 points allotted to Matt for this week. As for me, I went 9-7. Lost both my guarantee and team chaos. And so 1 point allotted to me. And so the standings as of now, 130-77. Look at that record right now for Matt. And he's sitting at 53 points.
That's not what I have. I have 131-76.
You screwed up again. I forgot to tell you.
Are you kidding me? Why do I keep doing this? The thing doesn't save my picks when I change them.
You picked the
I picked the Cardinals, so I did.
Yeah, yeah, that's what happened. So then 130-77, and then 53 points overall. And then 128-79. I once again, the modifier is killing me, but regardless, I would have still been at 49 points, but instead I'm at 46 points. And with 3 weeks left, it's a good cushion. It's a good cushion to have right now.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's 3 weeks. A lot can happen. So we'll see what happens. How about you get us started in this week's games?
Let's do that. We're going to start with Thursday Night Football with a divisional matchup between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, we say loss different, kind of the same way, but they're spelled differently. It's loss versus lass.
It's very strange.
It's the Chargers versus the Raiders. Who do you have?
Well, actually, no, it's not strange. It's just it's the masculine thee and the feminine thee, like in language.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm like, that's strange, but then I'm like, I forget. I like took like years of French to know that that's a fucking thing. But yeah, I'm taking the Raiders. This is not a confident pick in any way, because the Raiders have been very screwy as of late. I'm just gonna put my faith behind a team that had been doing well to this point and needs a bounce back game somewhere. And this could be it, but we also thought the Jets game would be a bounce back game. They did win it, but barely. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that this is definitely a game that would be shaky to bet for, and that's why I'm going to team chaos this game and go with the Chargers instead. Yeah. Raiders have been really shaky, really unreliable, and I think the Chargers could potentially pull one out.
100%. I feel like it's going to happen, but I'll stick with the Raiders pick for now. Next up, the Buffalo Bills at Denver Broncos. The Bills, my goodness, the Bills. They are looking like the second best team in the AFC right now. And they can't face the Chiefs right now, but they can face their AFC West rival in the Broncos. What do you think is going to happen here?
I am very high on the Bills right now. And they might be the team that I'm the highest on currently, just in terms of like teams that I enjoy watching.
Sure.
And teams that I've been like picking to win consistently. So as a result, I'm gonna pick the Bills.
Yep. I'm going Bills too. The only thing I said it before the Dolphins game against the Broncos, and I'll say it here. I hate these good teams that go to Denver expecting a victory.
Yeah.
Because Denver is just a brutal place to play. Just not because of it used to be because of the crowds, but it's also just because the air pressure is different and you play differently in Denver. And so I hope that the Bills can overcome that, and I think they will. But that's always the antsy thing about me with Denver. It's just like weird things can happen. But it's kind of like how if people go down to Miami, not quite with the air pressure part, but just like you go down to Miami, weird shit goes down. It's kind of like that with Denver. But I'll put my faith behind the Bills.
Yeah, I think the Bills are a really, really good team.
Yep, 100%.
Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers taking on the Green Bay Packers. Saturday night football. Panthers likely to be without Christian McCaffrey again, and the Packers are trying to stay on top. What do you think is going to happen?
I think the Packers got it. I want to, I would love to see like a little bit of chaos here with the Panthers. They didn't really look too great last week, and I don't know if Christian McCaffrey's like McCaffrey is like the biggest like is he or isn't he gonna play story of the later half of this season. I think regardless of whether or not he plays, I just think the Packers are on a roll right now, and I think they're gonna just continue their momentum on a Saturday night.
I really hope he plays next week because I need him for my fantasy championship if I make it.
I know,
and that's a big if. Like I'm not. It is not going to be easy for me to make this.
Did you make your semifinal?
I'm in the semifinal. I got a bye, so I was in the semifinal.
Oh, nice.
No matter what.
Cool. I haven't heard as much from you about your fantasy team, so I forgot to check in on that, and I'm glad to hear that your dynasty team is hanging tough.
And some sad news though. This may be the last year of the dynasty league because a lot of people don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
You'll find a place. I'm sure. We'll find a place for you. Get you adopted to a new league. Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Atlanta Falcons. Tampa Bay.
We never picked this game.
Oh wait, did we not?
No.
No, I picked the Packers.
I also picked Packers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Atlanta Falcons. Sorry. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Atlanta Falcons. So Falcons coming off of the really... that was actually going to be the game of the week if Browns...
if the Browns didn't happen.
Yeah, if Browns-Ravens didn't happen, Atlanta Falcons and Chargers was this close to being game of the week.
Imagine.
God. But Falcons somehow lost the game against the Chargers. Tampa Bay, though, coming off of the nice win over Minnesota. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think Tampa Bay really needs to try to help cement themselves in the playoffs, and they'll win this game.
I agree. I am with you. I'm going Tampa Bay as well.
All right. Next up, we have the Chicago Bears against the Minnesota Vikings. Both teams 6-6. Both teams fighting for a wild card spot. Wow. I cannot believe that either team is in this exact situation. It doesn't feel right, and I don't know how to explain why. Who do you have for this game?
This game is big, man. Like like you think about it, like we were just talking about the NFC wildcard race. Like this will decide who's gonna be in the race and who isn't. Like I don't expect an 8-8 team. I don't expect either of these teams to be 8-8 and in the playoffs. So, I'm gonna go Vikings here. I'm not confident about it, but I need to see the Bears be more like they were last week on a more consistent basis. That was the first time they really showed up in a while. So,
yeah, I agree with you. I would love to pick the Bears here and just go nuts. Just McFreaking lose it, but I can't.
McFreaking lose it.
I'm gonna McFreaking lose it. But no, I can't. I can't. The Texans defense is really bad. The Vikings defense also not that great, but I have to go with the Vikings.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. The San Francisco 49ers at the Dallas Cowboys. The Niners are now on a 2-game skid. They're pretty much no longer in playoff contention at this point. They're just looking to kind of get to next year after having a very disappointing season as the reigning NFC champion. The Dallas Cowboys, on the other hand, have won their last game against the Bengals and now have a shot to capitalize again against the 49ers, a weak 49ers team. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that the 49ers are still going to be able to take care of business. They're still more in the hunt, I think, than the Cowboys are. Mm-hmm. And I still don't really see the Cowboys playing well against good teams.
Sure.
So, for those reasons, I'm going with the 49ers.
I agree, but just to keep things more interesting, I'm going to pick the Cowboys here, just because I had the Cowboys checked anyway. It's not like your pick swayed me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick with the Cowboys here. And it's just because I think as of now, it's reaching a point where I think teams are starting to read into this offense run by Nick Mullins, and the Cowboys defense is playing a little bit better as of late. And nothing about the team screams world beaters, and their coaching certainly doesn't help matters. But I think they get the surprise win here against the 49ers. Not Team Chaos. I'm picking them.
Next up, Detroit Lions take on the Tennessee Titans. Detroit on a doing okay. Tennessee trying to take care of their division. How do you think is this game is happening? I stumbled through that ending, but it's fine.
You're all good. I gotta pick the Tennessee Titans here. I gotta pick the Tennessee Titans.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is the Lions are just, they're ready for the season to end, I think. And I just don't see this, especially it sounds like Matthew Stafford might not play this week.
Yes.
So if that's the case, then
that also affects things.
100% the Titans. So I'm going in that direction.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Titans are obviously the better team, and in general.
Yep, 100%. Next up, the Houston Texans at Indianapolis Colts. All right, so 2 weeks ago, these two teams played, and the Colts barely won. Can the Colts escape here once again of that 2-week turnaround?
I think so. Like the Titans, they're trying to maintain their spot as the best team in the AFC South, and this would be a good step in that direction. And I think they pull it out.
I do have a rule that usually if divisional opponents play each other within 2 weeks, or just any opponent plays each other within 2 weeks, that's usually when like the wild card thing gets mentioned. That the team that didn't win the first time wins this one, and I want to believe in that, but the Texans defense is not good, and I think this is a different game because I think this is this is now the Colts are playing the Texans, I think, for the first time since like Will Fuller and Bradley if I fucking remember his name, Bradley Roby, I think his name. Yeah. Both of them were suspended. And I just think I think the Texans are just doomed to lose out at this point. So I'm gonna stick with the Colts.
Next up, the New England Patriots take on the Miami Dolphins. New England is going into Miami, and Miami is going to try to come back from their loss against the Chiefs, in which they were down their top 6 receivers and 3 of their running backs.
Does
that influence you in any way?
It may, but I'm gonna roll with the Dolphins. We need to put this Patriots team away. Put them away for good. Shut the door behind them. They no longer could win the AFC East if that was still a concern for people. And they're a few losses away from just not participating at all in January. I think the Dolphins pull out the victory.
I agree with that, and I'm so confident that I'm going to guarantee that the Dolphins win this game.
Good job.
It is in Miami. Love this team. They're gonna do a good job.
I like
getting this team.
I like it a lot. All right. Next up, the Seattle Seahawks at Washington football team. Washington, I believe they are on a 3-game winning streak at this point. Or 4-game winning streak, excuse me. They're on a 4-game winning streak.
Yeah, insane.
And Seattle's coming off of the big win against the Jets. But they have lingering behind them was the other NFC East team that beat them just 2 weeks ago in the New York Giants. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
This shouldn't have been as hard as it was. I'm still going to go with the Seahawks because they, both these teams have playoffs on the mind because both of them are kind of on track to go there. But I still feel really confident in Seattle as a team to take down Washington. It's not as easy of a pick as it should be, though.
Yeah, 100%. I made the mistake 2 weeks ago of not team chaosing the Giants when I could have, and having a great pick. Although that was the same week that the Washington football team, my team chaos then beat the Steelers.
Yes.
I'm gonna roll with the Washington football team as my team chaos again this week, just because I liked what they did. I liked what they did last week, but I still I'm very thankful for them for giving me that team chaos in week 14 or week 13. Wait. Yeah, week 13.
Whatever week it was.
But yeah, so I'm team chaosing Washington once again.
I like it. I like the pick.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Baltimore Ravens. I don't even think I need to introduce this one. Who are you picking?
Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
No, just kidding. I'm going the Ravens. I think the Ravens are starting to get into a groove, and they got a very easy slate down the stretch. They got the Jaguars, the Giants, and the Bengals. I mean, if there's one team that could give them like a little bit of trouble, maybe it's the Giants in their defense. But I don't have enough faith in the Giants that they were going to pull that off. So
and it's not going to be the Jaguars that do it. So
I don't think it's going to be the Jaguars that do it. Although, guess who's back? Back again. Gardner Minshew is back in the starting position for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, yes, he
is. That raises like a little bit of interest right there, but Baltimore Ravens not a guarantee, but like I'm very confident in Ravens winning that.
Me as well.
Next up, the New York Jets at Los Angeles Rams. Okay, we get these out of the way back to back. I'm picking the Rams here.
I'm also picking the Rams. I did not really expect that much for the Rams to be this like have this much control of the division, but I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, no, it's solid. It's solid, man. Their defense is really good. They're still having offensive issues, and that could hurt them in the long run. But their defense is
Goff.
Good. All right, Next up, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Arizona Cardinals. Eagles coming off of their surprise victory against the Saints, taking on the Cardinals, who need to win to stay alive.
Keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Cardinals. Let me see this Eagles team do what they did last week in back-to-back weeks. If they can, then they absolutely should beat the Cardinals, but I just need to see it back-to-back. So I'm gonna take the Cardinals team that looked like it got a little bit back on track this past week and took advantage of the fumble party that was the New York Giants.
Yeah, I'm going with the Cardinals as well. I really want this team to see the playoffs, and obviously it's like it's picking games. It's not like totally going with alliances, but
sure,
I want this to happen. I'm picking the Cardinals.
Fair enough. Fair enough. The Kansas City Chiefs at New Orleans Saints. This is the big juggernaut matchup we've been waiting for, but it's coming in with the Saints like a little bit limping since they lost to the Eagles last week, and the Chiefs it got close near the end, but they took care of the Dolphins, and they currently have the best record in the NFL. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think that the Chiefs are going to win this game. I think New Orleans is whether or not they have they have Drew Brees back, they're going to be a little bit like shaken up potentially. And I think I would rather put my faith in the Chiefs in this instance.
Sure, 100%. I'm going with the Chiefs too. I was thinking about picking the Saints probably prior to last week, and then last week happened, and now I'm thinking the Chiefs do it, and I am so confident that I'm going to guarantee the Chiefs.
Oh boy. Go for it.
I haven't had a chance to guarantee the Chiefs to this point, but I have unrelenting faith in Mr. Mahomes, and I think he gets it done. I think this Chiefs team gets it done against a Saints team that might have a hobbled Drew Brees behind center or a Taysom Hill that had like one good game thus far.
Yeah.
So, I'm down for it.
That's good. Next up is the Cleveland Browns take on the New York Giants. This is the Odell Beckham Jr. trade revenge game that we finally get to have on Sunday night.
And he's not even going to be there.
And he's not even in the game. And maybe that's why the Browns are winning, though. What do you think?
Yeah, that I the storylines around OBJ, man, they keep on. They everyone was just like the moment his existence goes away, teams start winning. Even though I would also point at everything that has been the New York Giants over the last few years without him and be like, I don't know about that. But with that being said, though, the Browns have been better since he's left. Which a lot of people did say. And I think that the Browns take care of business. I would have loved to see the Giants be chaotic here, but I don't. Here's the thing. It's like, I like when like the little guy goes after like the corporations and bring down the corporation. This is like the little guy going after the hobo that just found some like $100 bill on the street and is again having some luck, and we're gonna beat up on that guy. You know, like the Browns just found some hope and victory. Let's give them this victory. That's what I say.
Quite the analogy there.
There you go.
I'm going to go with the Browns as well. They're a really good team, which is weird to say, but it's true. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm down for it.
Going with the Browns. I'm down to Brown.
Oh. So is Lamar. And then Pittsburgh Steelers at Cincinnati Bengals.
I thought that was low-hanging fruit, but it's fine.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, they have been on a 2-game skid at this point, but they get some redemption here. Get a chance for redemption here against the Brandon Allen-led Cincinnati Bengals. What do you think's gonna happen?
I think they'll get it and they'll be okay. Like, it's gonna be fine. Pittsburgh's gonna be fine. But we can mock them as much as we want in the process. They're gonna win this game. But imagine. So, like, the Steelers started 11-0 and still may not win the division, and I think that's mock-worthy.
It is surreal what we've seen over the last few weeks from them. I do think the Steelers are going to win this game.
Yes.
I'm not going to rule them out on anything still. Like, it's been bad, but like I think that they will be okay long term. I guess it is mock worthy at this point, but we'll see. We can mock them for now, but we won't be laughing. I think when they like demolish their divisional round opponent or whatever.
Yeah, well, they have to do that for me to believe it. So
right, exactly. All right, and so with that
what we forgot to do.
Oh, shit.
Super Tackle Bros.
We got Super Tackle Bros scenarios. All right, so but we just wrap up the pick segment here. We disagreed on 2 games? Only 2 games?
I think just our team chaoses.
Oh, man. All right.
No. Wait, what was your chaos?
I team chaos Washington. Oh, we disagreed on 3.
Yeah, the other one was
49ers Cowboys.
49ers Cowboys.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So there you go. I went all home once again with the VBBFL style. I went with the home teams. You went with the road teams. There you go. All right, Super Tackle Bros. Do you have the playoff?
I do have the list, and I will link it to you.
Yes, please.
So do you have who is currently in the game? Actually, I have right here. Should we start with the AFC?
Yeah, you could talk about the who's clinched in the AFC.
Yeah. So right now, Casey Chief the Wolf and Steely McBeam have both clinched their playoff berths.
Yeah, Casey Wolf is the title. Yes.
Yep. And then in the NFC, the Cheese Monster and Gumbo for the Saints have also clinched their playoff berths.
Yes. So we start out with Billy Buffalo once again, right?
Yep. So in order for Billy Buffalo to they can clinch the AFC East and get in the playoffs if they win or Miami loses. And they can also get in the get a playoff berth immediately if Baltimore loses. So if they win, Miami loses, or Baltimore loses, they are in the playoffs.
Interesting. Baltimore probably won't lose.
So it's mainly going to be Buffalo win or Miami loss, but they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, pretty much. We could talk about the further scenarios for the Chiefs and Steelers in a second, but first I want to go to T-Rack. T-Rack, the mascot of the Tennessee Titans. Titans have a clinching scenario this week.
They do. So they can get into the playoffs if they win and Baltimore loses. Okay. Or they win, Cleveland wins, and Las Vegas and Miami both lose.
All right. Interesting. I find it very strange that a Cleveland win.
I think it has something to do with strength of victory and just like Cleveland winning sets themselves up one more so that them and Tennessee are like up versus one of the other teams winning, which would make it harder for Tennessee to get there. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's interesting. That's a very weird, weird scenarios, but I like it. I like it. All right, so real quick, go through the what's the other AFC playoff scenarios?
Yeah, so Kansas City can get their first round bye if they win and both Pittsburgh and Buffalo lose. So Casey Wolf will be on the top of the pack. And Steely McBeam can get their AFC North Division title if they win or Cleveland loses.
Okay, there you go. So then on to the NFC, correct?
Yep. So we talked about who clinched. LA Rams. What's the LA Rams mascot name?
That his name is Rampage.
Rampage. All right. So Rampage wins. If Rampage wins, they're in the playoffs. Simple as that.
There you go.
Or if somehow Minnesota and Chicago tie. That's just funny to me.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's a tie game. Los Angeles gets in.
Hey, you know what? Any way you can figure it out, I get it.
Yep. And actually, the exact same situation for Seattle. What's his name?
Yeah, so Blitz is the Seahawks official mascot.
Yeah, so Blitz can clinch in the exact same scenario if they win or Minnesota and Chicago tie.
Okay, so Seahawks have Washington and Los Angeles has the Rams or has the Jets. That is very possible that we see those two teams make it.
Yeah, both of them clinch. That's neat.
Yeah, there you go. All right, and last but not least, I love this. Captain Fear.
Captain Fear. Why?
Of Tampa Bay fame. Steve Fisher.
That is an incredible name. Like, hey, we need a name for our pirate mascot. How about we call him Captain Fear? Let's just think, like, it's not even like you want a mascot, especially if you're a pirate team, to strike fear into the opponents. But they just cut right to the chase. His name is Captain Fear.
That's like, it's the equivalent of just being like, just whipping it out and just be like, here, this is take a measuring contest to Captain Fear. We have the best mascot name. It's just like, whoa, dude. I mean, it's just mascots. You don't have to be so literal about it. My God.
Anyway, they can get into the playoffs if they win and the Minnesota-Chicago game ties.
Oh, so it's the same scenario.
Yep. Well, no, the other ones were or. This one's an and.
Okay.
So if either one of those happens, then Seahawks and Rams get in. Tampa Bay has to win, and Minnesota-Chicago has to tie in order for them to clinch.
So fucking aggressive, Captain Fear. I just love
Captain Fear.
It's so aggressive. It's like fucking the Greg Williams of fucking mascots right there.
Jeez.
All right. So love it.
And then Gumbo can also clinch the NFC South if New Orleans wins or Tampa Bay loses.
Yeah, and let's remember we have Gumbo and Sir Saint. We'll name characters for both of them, and we'll have them battle it out to see who really represents the Saints in the Super Tackle Bros. But there you go. That's the lowdown right now. Very nice. So that's your Super Tackle Bros scenarios for this week. A lot of exciting football ahead. We are just whittling down, man.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already halfway through December.
Yeah, 14th game of the year. Don't buy Cyberpunk. Please do not buy Cyberpunk 2077. If you want to pirate it to see if it's see the good shit. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Maybe. Don't get it. It's bad. There is a in terms of games recently that I've played that are much better. First of all, play any Fallout game. People are basically saying it's like Fallout. Play a Fallout game then. Just play a Fallout game. Just Fallout New Vegas, preferably. Yeah, or I there's even if you just want simple games to play while you wait for the next big AAA game. I just played Hue, which is a 2D puzzle platforming game. It's fun. Just play. It's 4 hours. It's nothing that. To turn your attention away from Cyberpunk. I could also give you a game title that will probably fill up as much of your time as Cyberpunk and isn't a glitchy fucking mess. And that is?
That is Final Fantasy XIV, which I will probably be talking about in the next Gaming Coop.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Yeah. So, next Gaming Coop, I think we're gonna do like the game that we most enjoyed this year is Final Fantasy.
That might be so. It's kind of like I do Animal Crossing, but we all have Animal Crossing. And this is just kind of like an 11th hour slide in that's just kind of like taking over my life.
Yeah. I think what I have played the game before this year, but I 100%ed it for the first time this year. I'm probably gonna talk Super Mario Odyssey.
It's such a good game.
Yeah, it was gonna be between that or Animal Crossing, but I'm just like, yeah, no, Odyssey.
Yeah, I think I want some time between when I talk about other games in the series. Otherwise, I probably might have done Pokemon Sword.
No one has done Pokemon Sword yet. I think
no, but I meant like when I've done Pokemon before though.
Yes.
So I want to wait before I do another Pokemon game.
That's totally valid. Valid. Yeah, we'll probably film that. I want to say we film that maybe post Christmas. It might be out before New Year's. Might be even out after New Year's. Who knows? But that'll be when to expect that. And then just usual TCP stuff. Follow us everywhere.
Yep. Just posted a new Doc of Shame today, so you can go check that out.
And we got a recording tomorrow that we gotta do.
Yes. Oh my, Chris, I'm so excited for tomorrow's episode.
Which one is this now? I forget now.
It is the Lindsay one.
Yes. Okay. Yep. I'm looking forward to the Lashana one personally.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, and this is as vague as fucking possible that we could give out for the public who has not watched Doc of Shame. Definitely do that. But yeah, a lot of cool shit happening. Make sure you keep up with us. And with that being said, we'll see you guys on Saturday for the VBBFL stream. And we'll let you know if anything changes about that. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Good night and good ball. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.